It's the Rooster Teeth podcast, brought to you by Gus.
What?
I'm Gus.
I'm Eric.
I'm Drew.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Gus. I don't know. I'm doing something different. Didn't have to do the other one this time, so I'm bringing it.
No sponsor, just Gus, the guy who's here. 681
Gus.
episodes. Gus.
It's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's the final episode of the year. We're all this is a pre-tape, so sorry, apologies. We can't see what you're writing in chat. But that being said, I saw a hilarious comment in last week's episode. I don't remember if it was in the episode or in the post-show comments. Might have been in the post-show comments on Rooster Teeth. Gavin, for some reason, I forget what the context was. Gavin brought up Tub Girl.
Oh God. And
there was a comment on the Rooster Teeth site that just says, "What is Tub Girl?" And then that same person wrote a follow-up comment like 2 seconds later that says, "Oh my God, don't look that up."
Gross. No, thank you.
Don't look that up. That's like old internet.
That's old internet.
Yeah. Like Blue Waffle or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
There hasn't been a solid gross video in quite some time. Like,
I think, see, here's the thing. I think that there are per capita more gross videos now.
So now that they don't stick out as much.
Exactly. And so you're just sort of desensitized because when everything is Tub Girl, like when everything constantly on like your Reddit feed that you don't want to see, it's just like by accident. You just see like the most heinous shit. You're like, hey, check this out. It's a lion bursting through the inside of like a hyena and like a wildebeest comes over and gores it. And you're just like, oh, what? But that's like the seventh thing like that you've seen in a day. You know, what's that supposed to be?
Yeah, I'm like a paramedic who can eat a sandwich at a crash scene. Like my tolerance for scat porn is just boom. It's not like it was in 1996.
No.
Yeah, we're older. We're more jaded.
Totally.
There was a link. I forget what it was titled. So it was like on the public freakout subreddit or something, where it's like the aftermath of a fight in Chicago. And I was like, this seems like a risky click. So I read the comments first, and the top comment was, "That dude is leaking." I was like, nope, I'm not going to watch that video.
Nope, I'm not watching anybody leak. I don't want to watch anybody leak. No leaking on the internet today, please. Thank you.
Yeah, as a former moderator of our Watch People Die, I mean, I've seen it all.
You're a maniac.
What?
What the?
Are you kidding me right now?
Are you serious?
Just a longtime subscriber until I got there.
God.
Yeah.
So you've just seen a lot of people die.
It got to the point where they categorized them so it would be like drone attacks, terrorism, industrial accidents, you know, and so you kind of knew what you were getting into.
Holy shit.
And you didn't need the NSFL categorized because they were all NSFL.
It was all of them
by nature. Yeah.
I feel like that's really disturbing, right? There was a whole subreddit for that because I remember like when I was younger, it's like there were those VHS tapes. What were they? The
Faces of Death.
Faces of Death,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Oh,
They were like infamous. It was like, oh, if you watch these videos, it's like uncensored, unfiltered, like what actually happens to people. And then like it was like a underground thing that got like traded around. And now it's just like, oh, watch this for free. Like don't even sign up for an account. It's like, do you want to watch some of the most fucked up things in the world? Go for it.
Here they are.
You don't have to stay the night at your friend's house where his mom works overnights and his dad's not around to go watch a VHS to see someone die. You could just pull it up on your phone when you're just trying to like do anything else. It's incredible.
Right, you're just like sitting on the toilet. Yeah, like, why not?
While you're in line at a theme park, just on the.
What? Okay. So what's the worst place where you can look up, watch people die, and then watch people like where you're the guy who's just by himself watching people die? Like, what is what's the worst
tire store? The tire store.
No,
like you're just waiting for your tires to get put on your car. There's all these other people at the tire store not doing anything and then watch people die with the sound on. That's what it is. Just you by yourself in this very quiet
between
lobby.
two kids.
Yeah. Ooh,
that's a good one.
Okay, that is good. Gus, what do you think?
Kids, have you ever seen an electrocution here? Because these workers in China are all about to bite it. There's no blood, but it still is real.
I'm going to say like at a wedding, like because you're in a church, but you're not at church. Well, like a church wedding, right? But you're like in a church, but not at a church service. Yeah. Like everyone's there for something like really nice. And then you're there like so jaded just watching these awful things.
I think that my choice would be only because it's so on the nose, would be a funeral where you pull up, watch people die while people are
dead,
are sad about it. Yeah.
And then, you know, like it's not like this guy died. Like the machine didn't suck him in and then like bail him out Hay style. But he's certainly dead.
Well, you could that could be the meta of it, where it's like you find the watch people die video of the guy who died at the funeral you're at. I feel like that's the peak. Yeah,
I like that.
Just like while the priest is giving the eulogy, just being like, guys, I found it. Here, I'm gonna play it real quick. He just falls right in that meat grinder. He did it.
I'm happy with my idiots in cars. That's as deep as I want to go. I don't want to go any deeper.
I can't even do nature's metal. I can't.
No, hell no.
What about street fights? What about street fights? That's although that can get pretty brutal too.
I draw the line at public freakout. I can't even go actual public freakout. Like a solid Karen yelling at somebody is enough for me. Where I'm just like, cool, okay, bye.
I'm with you. I don't need that. I don't need I'm already riled up all the time anyway. I don't need to like watch people die also, and then it just gets me like now I'm riled up and like morbid. Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah. I don't need that. It's just
I don't
that's
know,
not
for
me.
some it's just morbid curiosity. I think I'm just a permanent 13-year-old, but it's always just been that morbid curiosity of, oh shit. And then like just I don't know, in my mind, like that person was here and then 1 minute and then they decide to get on an escalator and now they're not anymore. And it's just like, or you know, they didn't realize there wasn't a car in that elevator shaft and they're just like no longer, I still can't get over that. I still my fear of death is just so strong that And
like in some of those scenarios you're talking about, it's like the person who like goes to it doesn't even know, right? It's like you hear 1 second and then it's just like, oh, that's it. You're turned off.
Which probably isn't the worst way to go. Like you probably never even knew it was coming, you know, if it's quick.
I think I would prefer that over like knowing, like seeing it come up in the coming at you. Like, oh, cool. Piano fell on me. I'm good. Hello.
I want to die Looney Tunes style, and I never want to see it coming.
Looney Tunes death. Let it be a safe or an anvil.
Piano, safe, hay baler. That's the three Looney Tune ones we've covered so far.
Faulty rocket shoes.
You have to come out of the hay baler looking like a hay bale, like in a perfect cube. Like
you have to have the straps around you, and your eyes are bugging out.
Yeah, I want to get shot with like a rocket launcher, and then a big explosion happens, but then my ashes are there, and my eyes go blink, blink, and then no more.
I want to take 6 steps too many off of a cliff. That's how I want to go.
Yeah, like having seen multiple videos of people actually falling off a cliff, I did not. And learning that they don't suspend in the air.
There's no sign. They don't get to say like,
and look at the camera and hold the sign. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Can you die from an escalator?
Oh, don't. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Like the boat breaks, right?
If your shit gets caught, if you're about to step off and you step off, but it's into another dimension.
The scariest analogy you can think about, like if you think about an escalator, right? Like think like in your mind, picture an escalator that's empty, and like it's turned on and it's going at constant speed, right? Now in your mind, picture that escalator with 100 people on it. The speed doesn't change on it at all. It doesn't make a difference how many people are on it. Okay. Now think about the gears that are under that escalator powering that, and think about what it does when it encounters you. It does not stop.
So like, but like, does that mean like the motors? Sorry, this is a physics problem, but the motors require to be like to go faster when there's more people, or is it just?
They're just going. It's just continuing to go along at the same speed. Yeah,
I guess
I had to help it. Like when I worked back at the call center, it was like one of those like mom and pop places, and the owner's brother worked at an elevator repair shop here in Austin. And one time, like because I knew about computers, I was working at the call center. The owner came up to me and was like, "Hey, my brother's having a problem with hooking up a computer to this elevator to fix it. Can you go over and help him?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Well, it doesn't matter to me. I'm on the clock either way." So I drove over to help out this elevator repair guy fix an elevator. I have no experience with elevators. I just had to help him get the elevator talking to this laptop. Anyway, we're just like talking, shooting the shit while I'm getting it all set up. And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, so you fix elevators? Do you ever get scared getting on an elevator?" He was like, "No, elevators are fine. They got brakes on them. If you fall, like it's not a big deal. He's like, people are afraid of elevators, but really, it's actually really safe. He said, escalators, though, I never get on an escalator.
Whoa.
I was like, really? He goes, yeah, I would. He's like, if I'm given the option, I will always take the stairs or an elevator. He's like, I will not set foot on an escalator.
Wow. They just seem like the hubris of man. Like, it seems like some leftover, like, early 1900s Coney Island relic, where it's just like, how do you get from A to B? Just, these automatic stairs full of sharp gears. It's like, just walk up the fucking stairs. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we need an escalator.
I was at an airport in Mississippi over the weekend because we were visiting family. It's okay. It was a nightmare. But we flew in. This was at the airport in Jackson, Mississippi, and the escalators were out of service. And not only were they out of service, but the stair part was gone. So it was just,
like flat.
Yeah, you just know it was like you could see underneath the stair part. And
something you should never see.
Right, exactly. And I thought two things. I was like, I can totally see how people die on these because these giant gears would just eat them up. And then the second thing I thought was, did they close this escalator down rather than integrate it? Like that, I felt like both of those, like, has this not worked since 1965?
This is where we make our stand.
Yeah. And it was also, the airport was named the Medgar Evers Airport. In Jackson, Mississippi, who was a civil rights icon, but it's weird to name an airport after a guy that you as a state murdered, like shot in his drive. It's like, y'all killed him, Mississippi. It's too late now.
They're trying their best.
No, they're not.
That's
really
true.
not.
That's very true. Yeah, it's 100% true.
Yeah.
I read a story the other day about the origin of the name for the Austin airport. It's Bergstrom Airport.
Yeah.
Sure. And I never gave a thought to it. I read a story the other day, a couple of weeks ago, about why it's named Bergstrom Airport. It was named after the first World War II casualty who was from the Austin area.
Oh.
What? Why would you name an airport after that?
I guess he was in
an Air Force base.
Well, yeah, he was in. It was like an Army airfield, I think, at the time. I think
he was the worst soldier in Travis County.
That's crazy. That's like naming. No, hang on. Now this is like naming a baseball stadium after the first guy who was up to bat in the new stadium. It doesn't that doesn't make any sense. That's just a
arbitrary.
Name. That's
Well,
that's crazy.
It's still better than it's better than most of UT, which if you dig too into those statues, it's like, he was the biggest slave owner in Austin.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
Good old Clyde Littlefield.
Right.
So, but I guess the Bergstrom name for the airport predates the airport. It used to be Bergstrom Air Force Base. So it's probably they named the Air Force Base after him. And then, it just got the name transitioned when it became the airport. But anyway, he got killed December 8th, 1941. Was immediately when the war started. We
declare war. That guy got shot.
Did he see
same day
action and die, or was it like
he was
stepped off the ship and fell?
Yeah. Did he go on an escalator in 1941?
No.
Oh no.
When were escalators invented? No, he was in the Philippines and the Japanese attacked it.
Oh,
escalate.
But that's like naming.
I was looking it up while you were telling your story.
Naming an airport after that guy still doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't.
What's the Air Force Base?
I understand that it's an Air Force base. It doesn't make any sense to me to name it after the first guy who died in a war.
No, it was an Air Force base.
I hope that there's an afterlife so he can brag to the other ghosts.
Like a whole
look at that.
Air Force.
Yeah. Still
Crazy.
flying into me.
Crazy. It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. The naming convention doesn't make any sense.
I feel like most historical things in Austin don't make a ton of sense, nor do they there isn't for a city whose capital has been around for a while. There's just not a lot of accessible history. Like you go to San Antonio, you can go to the Alamo, you can go see culturally significant historical things. Those they've all been bulldozed here in Austin. I feel like any of its old culture, even including all the music stuff, is just gone.
It's just constantly getting torn down and rebuilt. Yeah.
My favorite was in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. You go for it. Go for it.
My favorite was in Round Rock. There's a Sam Bass Road, and Sam Bass is a famous bank robber who
really. That's cool.
And so they named it after Sam Bass, but then the cops in Round Rock got mad. And so they named another road A.W. Grimes after a cop that Sam Bass killed. So there's like competing roadways.
I had no idea.
What the fuck? That's awesome.
That's what I learned from being a reporter in Round Rock for 13 months. Yep. That was pretty much it.
Man.
Yeah.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth Podcast is brought to you by Adam and Eve. While the gift-giving season is now technically over, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to keep treating yourself. Why not ring in the new year the right way with lingerie, toys, games, movies, or anything else from the upscale adult boutique Adam and Eve? Right now, they're offering 50% off almost any one item when you head over to adamandeve.com. Use code ROOSTER at checkout. But not only will you get a great deal, you'll also get 10 free gifts, including free shipping, 90 days, no hassle returns, and access to their 24/7 customer service team. Don't wait. We've all heard about supply chain delivery issues, so shop now. Why not? Hurry while supplies last. So just enter offer code ROOSTER at checkout. Get 10 free gifts. That's a sexy item for him, a special gift for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. Then Adam and Eve will throw in 6 free spicy movies plus free shipping. That's offer code ROOSTER, ROOSTER, at checkout at adamandeve.com for 50% off almost any one item and 10 free gifts.
That's pretty much it. And that's the one thing I learned.
That and Dell runs that town. And they hate Democrats. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you had to go work there to know that. I feel like I've just been there a couple of times for minor league baseball games, and I know that.
Yeah.
Williamson County Police will tell you that to your face.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No hesitation. Gus, you sent us a picture of an escalator.
Look closer. That escalator is made out of wood.
Whoa.
Okay.
Escalators were invented in the late 1890s.
Yeah, it's Coney. Some of that early Coney Island Nikola Tesla bullshit.
Wow. Drew was right.
This wooden escalator in particular that I sent you a photo of was in the London Underground at the Greenford station. It was removed in 2013. So they still had a wooden staircase 8 years ago at the London Underground.
Brian, is that what the rest of the escalators in Jackson, Mississippi look like?
I can't find this picture. Where is this?
It's in the RT podcast Discord.
Okay.
Yep. That's great. Also, it's on screen.
Nicholas put it on the screen.
It's on the screen.
Crazy. Stand on the right.
That's way nicer than what was in the Jackson.
I have to say, I like the no smoking sign that's with it, because if you drop your lit cigarette on those stairs, you thought that you were going to get grinded by gears, but it's just going to all catch fire.
Catch fire and then suck you in.
Yes, so exactly.
How does one? So like I've always heard like don't leave your shoes untied on an escalator.
Right.
It'll suck your foot in and then you'll wind up in the gears. But is that what it is? You just get your leg gnawed off. You just bleed out.
It's not your leg. It pulls your leg and it doesn't stop pulling. It's gonna pull you all the way. It's like a paper
all
shredder.
The way. Yes.
Gotcha. Wow.
And you're the paper, and you're the document with the CIA names on it.
Why do escalators exist at all? Like
they're terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many I feel like escalators, what is it? Like vending machines cause more accidents than shark bites. Is that right? Like
it's like something like that.
People tipping vending machines over. But then I feel like escalators probably cause way more accidents than shark bites, lightning, and vending machines combined. So why do we still have, why has there not been design updates?
I think I guess in an airport, it's to move large numbers of people around. But most people don't jog. Exactly. But they have moving sidewalks too, and nobody moves on those. You could still just walk. Yeah. It's making you walk 15% faster, I guess.
I guess so.
Yeah. So I looked it up. Well, real fast. The elevator repair guy that I worked with said that if he ever did have to get on an escalator, that he put each of his feet on 2 different steps.
Wow.
Like on the corner on the edge. That way his weight was distributed, and that if the plate fell down, he wouldn't be sucked into the gears.
What the fuck? This podcast is insane. This is crazy. I'm learning so much.
Do you want to take a guess as to how many people get injured every year in the United States on escalators?
In the United States.
11.
2,000.
Yeah.
Is it 11?
11. I think it's 11.
Anybody else want to take a guess?
I'm going to say like 54.
Brian?
2,000.
What?
17,000.
What?
Yes.
What?
Come on,
I was really off.
I feel like at that number you would know somebody who's been injured by an escalator.
That's provided by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
Shit!
You can find this document on the CDC.
No, that has to be all time. That has to be an all-time number. That cannot be yearly in these United States.
Year. Each year.
No.
Each year in the United States.
How do they like? Well, I guess that's the other thing is how do you count an injury? Like if I got a little paper cut, like if somebody like.
Yeah, if it's going up and I fall down, but then I'm falling down endlessly because it keeps going up, does that count as one injury or multiple injuries?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm reading the report on the CDC website, and this is actually combined elevators and escalators.
The Center for Disease Control?
Dude, I don't know. That's where they put it.
The Center for Disease Control?
I mean, I'm sure that's where all the accident statistics are.
I suppose if I got injured by an escalator, I would be in dis-ease, but that's not how I would use that word.
Well, people put their feet on those steps. Those are dirty. Yeah. I mean, those are gonna, and you got an open cut around those, you're gonna get something.
So I found a breakdown.
Okay.
The Consumer Product Safety Commission says that 6,000 people per year are injured in escalators, and elevators account for 10,200 injuries a year.
I'm going to say that the elevator, like, because if you look at the diagram of how elevators work, it's not like elevators falling down shafts and shit. It's like you get stuck for a while. Here's what it is. I'm going to guess with elevators. You get stuck for a little bit. Somebody has a little bit of freak out, and then they try to climb out of the top and do something stupid. And that's when you get hurt in an elevator, is when you try to fuck around and climb out. But
it says, half of the deaths are people working near elevators and elevator shafts and falling in. Incidents where workers were caught in between moving parts of the elevator and escalator. Our elevators are also numerous. Yeah. So those are the two top. Okay. The top two.
Now I think it's in Germany. There's like a combo. It's an elevator escalator. It's like an elevator that you can. It's a never ending belt.
Oh yeah.
It's a never ending belt that goes up, and you just like as the stair comes up, as your little platform comes up, you just step on, and it just never stops moving. You're still in continuous rotation.
There's like some college campuses, like older college campuses that still have that. And I saw videos of it where students were like, and this is how I get to the third floor.
Yeah.
And it's just people walking on. I mean, it really is like like how an escalator just goes. There's an up and a down, and everybody waits in line and gets on like a little steppy platform. It doesn't stop. You just hop on, and then it goes up. And then there's one that comes down and you jump off, and it's
horrifying.
Everybody has to get hurt on it constantly.
It's like a ski lift.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Also, except directly up and down.
But see, I feel like ski lifts are way less dangerous because if you fall, you're just gonna get like you might break a leg or like fall in the snow. Like there's still like a good like amount of snow beneath you. Like I've never been too scared in a ski lift.
We should put snow at the bottom of escalators.
Oh, like inside of escalators.
That's my platform. Thank you.
Eric Baudour for Congress.
Snow in every escalator. You go to Target and there's snow.
All right, here's another guessing one, and this is kind of related to a stand-up bit I'm working on.
Ooh.
But
how many? Taste. Okay, I love a good little taste.
How many dog attack fatalities do you think we average a year in the U.S.?
Oh God, boy!
Wait, what was the escalator elevator number? Was 17,000? 37?
Yeah,
total.
No, but these are fatalities. These aren't.
Okay, this is people dying.
I'm gonna say
Precious got eaten by a pit bull. Yeah,
35.
I'm gonna say an even 100.
250, Bob.
Okay.
Gus was closest, an average of 32 fatalities every
year.
My point is, we would put up with that from no other animal. A fucking toucan killed 32 people. We like Fruit Loops would have a new mascot by the end of the day.
If you're talking about like a single individual, like a single toucan killing 32 people, that's a psychopath toucan.
The breed
Put him down.
of ferrets, we would be drug dealers would have to find a new pet after that. Like I agree. Outlaw the breed.
I want to know what I feel like there are also the same like a similar amount of cat fatalities though. Like I bet you there's maybe not similar, maybe like a third.
You think there's
a
cat?
I'm going to guess that at least 10 people a year.
You deserve to die if you're taken out by that cat. That's
man, how did you die? Well, the escalator sucked me in. How'd you die? Cat attack.
Although cat bites are very can get infected very easily. Yeah. I had that happen. That hurt really bad.
Ooh.
To Brian's point, just for reference, in the last 60 years, between 1958 and 2018, 36 people have died from shark attacks in the United States.
Wow, so that's as many as one dog year.
It took 60 years for sharks to get to the level of 1 year for dogs.
Wow.
Yeah. And sharks have a million movies made about them. Dogs had what? One
Cujo. There's a Cujo. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's why my second platform is that we should keep sharks as pets. Why not?
Why not?
Fine.
Oh, you
can't keep great whites. Great whites do not keep as pets. You can't.
Oh, man.
They don't live. Like it's a weird aquatic problem for the places where they keep the fish. What the fuck is it called?
Aquarium.
An aquarium. God.
Are you okay?
That was the last time I was on this show ever.
The 36 figure does not include Hawaii for some reason, which they break out in a separate line item.
Yeah, that's
another 11.
Yeah,
so that's 47. 47 total.
Annex. Get them out. Hawaii, you're done. Get it. Puerto Rico, you're in.
Damn.
What? That's my next question. What state are we getting rid of or combining with another state so we can get Puerto Rico in and make it an
North
even 50?
and South Dakota?
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. 100%, Gus.
Well, Dakota. First of all, North Dakota doesn't exist. And then second of all, Washington, D.C. Statehood, Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico at the same time. And then you say,
well, shit. Now we got to get rid of another one.
No, because it has to be 50. It has to. There's the only reason we haven't added more states is because everyone is married to 50. That's the only reason.
Well, no, the reason is that nobody wants to add more senators. Like nobody wants to disturb the balance of power that's in the Senate, right?
You have to keep it even.
Great.
Republicans sure as shit do not want another senator, any more Senate seats available.
So you combine anything that has the same name as somewhere else: North and South Dakota, Virginia and West Virginia, and then North and South Carolina.
Keep those separate. Keep those separate.
The North and South Carolina now just become mega
Carolina.
Vermont and New Hampshire. I don't like the shapes.
True. That's a nice little square.
And then states shouldn't be 69ing. It looks obscene on the map.
Fully jettison Delaware. Nobody's been to Delaware. Nobody's
true. Rhode Island.
Sorry, Biden.
Rhode Island is so small. What can it just get folded into? What does it border?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Well, there you go. Well, no, you can't give them more power. Not Massachusetts. Sure. It has to be something else.
Then it's Delaware. It's the Delaware Rhode Island, which then it's tough. Too much suck.
I vote for two completely different states, like a Louisiana and Maine, to be combined, and then it's just a buddy comedy for
just like sister
two states.
Cities.
Like they've never even seen each other. They've never visited. They're too far apart. Y'all are the same state now, and just watch the hijinks ensue.
Can we annex a single interstate that connects the two? It's like this long little stringy piece is also a part of your state.
Gerrymandered piece of property in the entire country.
It'll be our equivalent of the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. Yeah. Like, y'all are part of the same state. Wink, wink.
There's one highway and it's not technically interstate from Louisiana up to Maine. It's just the highway.
And only they can use it because it's their state.
Otherwise, you're just tolled to shit. It's just the most expensive toll in the nation.
Yeah.
This is a good idea. We got it. This is good. Now we can get Puerto Rico in here. DC can be a state.
This lands on your platform, Eric. So now it is escalators with snow.
Yeah.
Maine and Louisiana are one state.
And sharks as pets.
Highway and sharks as pets. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. This is good. Vote for me.
What's your Congress or representative? What are you running on?
Yeah, whatever. What has the least responsibility, but I get paid the most just with underhanded money?
Elon Musk.
Vice president.
You're running for new Elon Musk.
Brian gave a real answer very sorrowfully.
Wait, Brian, what was your real answer?
Well, vice president, although she's casting all these tie-breaking votes, so there actually is a big role for it.
Mm-hmm. But if we had a new state, then she wouldn't have to.
Think about it. Think about it.
I wanted to poll this crowd. I was gonna write the tweet "Eat Joe Manchin," like "Eat the Rich," but I feel like I was gonna get flagged on Twitter. Do you guys think I'll get flagged for tweeting?
For what?
I don't know. Emily,
and they do get weird about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, who cares?
Right.
Eating people?
I don't know. I don't know how any of this shit works. I got started in the social media game way late, so I'm always worried that I'm gonna get like an FBI knock, being like, "Sir, are you a cannibal?" I get spooked. I'm easily spooked.
They're not gonna arrest you for that. They're gonna arrest you for starting a hashtag in 2021.
Yeah.
Sir, I'm so sorry.
The FBI comes over and kicks your ass.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to tweet right now I'm hitting send. So if you see this tweet, you know that this is the time that we were pre-recording. Right. I just said, I just tweeted, don't Texas my California. So we'll see what happens.
Oh,
like so that. Deep.
Yeah,
or
I did it backwards.
Louisiana, my Maine.
Oh, wow! Yeah. All right, hang on. I'm going to reply to my own tweet.
Well, hold on. There we go.
All right,
yeah, thank you.
This is good.
All that's going to end up with, all that new state would end up with, is a lot of lobster gumbo recipes. and dudes in Maine flying the Confederate flag.
Yep, that's it.
Which they probably
do.
Oh,
they probably do.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about rednecks. They are everywhere. Yeah. There's not a state that does not have rednecks, which I thought was weird, but it's
right. No, it means that it doesn't mean you're from a particular region. It means that you dropped out of school, and
it means that you're dumb and very proud of it. That's what that's what being a redneck means.
Man, yeah. Well, I mean, when you're right, you're right. It's I've been to Barstow.
Jeff Foxworthy taught us all that. I mean,
yeah. I heard a rumor that Bill Engvall died, but it's just like an internet rumor. Do you know about this?
I don't think so. No. He was like the Ringo of the blue comedy.
Yes.
The blue collar
100%.
Yeah.
Like he was more of like the John or the George, but okay, I'll give it to you, Brian. I'll give it a go.
I don't know. Brian's right. Ron
White is pretty big. I mean, he's not the biggest, but Larry the Cable Guy was the breakout star, and Jeff Foxworthy was like the star coming into that.
Okay, yeah. All those dudes already had a career before the blue collar comedies. Like Bill Engvall and Jeff Foxworthy, we grew up with that in Oklahoma, like consistent. Like they were already top notch. So yeah, I get it. Okay, I'll agree. Now all I can think about is the Get Back documentary they're going to make in 20 years about the blue collar comedy tour. Just like
now
I was thinking about this redneck joke. Can I run it off you fellas? If you smoked at your wedding, no, that's not right.
So
I'm not watching 8 hours of that. I mean, I'm telling you right now.
I'll do it, but you have to upscale everything and do like deep fake faces so that way it looks better. So it's like I'm watching it through a crystal clear window.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. We talk about BetterHelp a lot on this show. This month, we're discussing some of the stigmas around mental health. A shocking amount of people still think going to therapy means that there's something wrong with you or that things have reached a breaking point. But of course, that's not true. Therapy is a tool to utilize before things get worse to help you learn how to avoid these lows. It just means you recognize that everyone has emotions and we just need to learn how to control and healthily express them and not avoid them. So if you're struggling with anything at all, I know BetterHelp can help you. BetterHelp is customized online therapy, offers video, phone, even live chat sessions with your therapist. So you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. Give it a try. See why over 2 million people have used BetterHelp online therapy. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Rooster Teeth podcast listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/rooster. That's BetterHelp.com/rooster.
So I don't know why I was searching for Bill Engvall stuff the other day, and because I think it was like definitely he was like the Ringo one, so it was like, what's Bill Engvall up to? And from like 2017, finding articles about like the real reason we don't hear from Bill Engvall anymore is Bill Engvall dead and all that stuff, and apparently he just like he had some kind of like injury and then retired, but it's like I don't know, like
retired from sitting on a stool,
right?
Talking,
drinking some scotch.
Here's the thing that I saw this week. 6 figures every year after that, like for tour.
The thing that made me really sad and made me realize that maybe I'm not as funny as I thought this week was that Jim Brewer is now doing like super right-wing stand-up comedy. And I remember when I first saw like the clip of it, I was like, oh, what happened? That guy used to be funny. And then I realized, no, he wasn't. He was never funny. I have bad taste. Like, then I was just like, oh, no. I just like got really, I was like, watching that clip. I was like, oh, no, it's not him who's dumb. It's me.
I'm excited. Let's just go to a single on Brian and he can explain this whole thing to us.
Okay,
and,
go ahead.
What
there actually is, he's following a long line of C-list SNL stars who have done the exact same thing. Victoria Jackson, who did the same thing. John Lovitz is like a conservative.
Really?
Yeah. Although John Lovitz was very good on SNL. So that
breaks my heart.
I don't mean to bring him down. Even Norm Macdonald had some conservative leaning things, but all these, and especially if you're washed up, not just SNL, but in the entertainment field, he's actually making a smart career move because when is the last time Jim Breuer performed before that many people doing that cockatiel bit of squawking on stage, and it is murdering. Now it's not good, but it like they don't care. No. Like he's sending those old people home happy back to the nursing home or back to their blackjack tables. So I mean, you might not like it, you might not agree with it, but from his manager is like happy as a clam because of all this. Yeah, but he sucked. I mean, he was one of those just one trick, like Rob Schneider or something. He did one or two memorable things, but like that was it. He obviously his career was in the shitter. He looks like he's been, I don't know what, like,
dude,
he looks like he hasn't slept in the last 2 decades. Yeah. So like that's my reason.
He looked sleepless prior, and now age has not helped him at all.
He can't swim in the liberal end of the pond, so he's going to a much shallower end in terms of celebrity entertainment. If Trump gets reelected, I'm sure he'll perform in the inauguration. Like, he'll get much bigger bookings. Yeah.
Yep. Wasn't there a push for a while? Like who was it? Someone wanted to start like. There was talk like, let's make our own conservative Saturday Night Live and base it out of Omaha, Nebraska. Like do a live comedy show, skit show once a week.
Please.
Would love to see it. Absolutely. Yeah. Do it.
Like that Red Eye show on Fox. Yeah.
So I saw that. I was on a flight a month or 2 ago, and there's a show called Gutfeld. Yeah, you know, you kind of like skip through like the channels. And you land on that, and you just go like...
It's like it's like the Daily Show for Fox News, and it's like it lands flat every time.
It's incredible.
They've tried it with the Babylon Bee too. I'm sure you've seen their just killer tweets.
Yeah, I don't get what is that? Why? How is it? Because it's like punching down. Like what is?
And then lack of empathy. So there's no way to. If you're actually doing comedy, you can empathize with you can relate to the people that you're talking to. So I feel like there's a lack of.
Oh, interesting. It's just so like, you know, it's mean-spirited, but also even if you take the mean-spiritedness out of it, there's no joke to any. I was really like watching, like, man, hiding my screen so nobody saw me watching it, and then just going like, what's happening?
A fan has a tweet of you somewhere of you on the airplane, like watching Gutfeld.
Oh, Eric is watching Gutfeld. Oh.
Eric's at a tire shop watching it. Yeah.
Like, why is that? Like, why is none of it? How is it so not funny, but across the board? You know what I mean?
I think it's a shallower pool. There are some funny comics who are like right-leaning, like Nick DiPaolo's funny, or at least he used to be. Like Norm Macdonald was not a liberal necessarily. I mean, he was one of the best ever, but it is a much shallower pool. So I think you have to pull from, and I have friends in the scene who are like definitely more conservative and like can be funny, but I don't know what it is. I think if you're just in entertainment, I think it's just more liberal to begin with. Whereas I think if you're a conservative person who's funny, you're just the funniest person at the UPS store. Right. Like you have a real job because you're conservative. You're not going to move out to LA or New York and have to be around a bunch of non-white people all the time to make it. You're just going to stay in, Louisiana and just like make the best of it.
Right.
That's my guess.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm going to say something controversial.
Hell yeah. Close up on Drew.
I need help. Why? Okay. And please explain this to me because I don't understand it. Why is Norm Macdonald funny? I've never understood it. I don't know why. I don't get it. I don't.
Yeah, I was not prepared for the level of controversy in this.
Wow. Are you serious?
I don't understand. The old Daily Show bits were funny. His jokes on the Daily Show, not the Daily Show, the Weekend Update. I always thought was funny. But I never got it. And it's not like, I'm not saying like he sucked. Every time somebody's like, Norm Macdonald's my favorite stand-up comedian, I'm like, I must be stupid.
I think you have to like I think you have to, I mean, it also sucks to try to break comedy down, but like, I think you have to be the kind of person who likes absurdism, first of all, because I think he does a lot of that. He absolutely commits to whatever he's doing. Yeah. So even if he's like he did there was a roast of Bob Saget and he got up there and just told like joke book jokes, like like the corniest shit. And it's like, so part of it is if anybody else did that, it wouldn't work. But the way he did it and the way he sold it was like cryingly funny. So it's a lot of that. There's like an irreverence about him to where it's just like, he just kind of says like, no matter how non-PC it is or whatever, like he'll just say it. He was just like, I think he was just a genius. I think he was sort of, and it's a very non-traditional way to do comedy, like the way he did it. Like
I understand now.
Yeah,
my anxiety would catch him before I thought anything was funny. Well, I would like clock him and be like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if that's a bit or not. I can't fucking tell. Like, this isn't funny. I just want to die. Like, that's every time I would see him in anything.
You kind of have to go on the ride. You kind of have to go on the ride with him. And nobody's imitated him since. It's like Jackson Pollock with painting. It's like he was just doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
If I remember right, in that roast as well, didn't he bring like a newspaper and he just like didn't pay attention to the roast the entire time? And was just sitting on the dais reading a newspaper.
Yeah.
It was so bizarre.
That's awesome.
His own personal barometer of what was funny and what was funny to him was so offbeat that it's just it's almost like he was doing stuff just to make himself laugh.
Oh,
and if you liked it, that was fine and good, but it wasn't important to him. Like he wasn't going to try to please you.
Right. Which I think that's what makes him why most stand-up comedians like him, because it's like an art for art's sake, where it's like, oh, he's the pure artist, where he doesn't
definitely the comics comic.
Big time. Yeah. Big time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I always thought he was funny. I didn't have anything negative to say about it. I thought that, he got kind of dealt a bad hand with the SNL stuff and the way they, the way he got canned and stuff. And it's just like, damn, like he had this career that like, what would it have been if he didn't get canned there, if he continued and everything? Because what he made, Dirty Work and stuff like that.
He had his own show for a while.
He did.
I think he had a Norm show on ABC. Yeah. I think he was, I don't know if it ever would have changed, because I think he was always going to be that person who like was more of the Velvet Underground rather than the bands who came after him that was inspired. Like, I don't think he was ever going to be super mainstream. And there's actors like that too, and comedians who came before him, like Lenny Bruce or somebody who it didn't have the kind of mainstream success. Bill Hicks, who was not, I think kind of very similar, although Bill Hicks did a more traditional stand-up. So I don't know. If he had done 4 more seasons on SNL, I think he would have done, but the culture wasn't ready. I think it shifted much more toward him now with like Tim and Eric and stuff like that. But even they aren't doing the exact same. Nobody did what he did, and nobody still is. It's its own thing.
With the SNL stuff, it has to be in their contract that whatever ventures they do after SNL, Lorne Michaels has right of first refusal to, right? Because it is
Lorne owns them. Like if you go and want, like if I don't know if you've seen Only Murders in the Building.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
It like
very
so good.
I've heard great
very
things.
Good, super watchable, but. Like Steve Martin and Martin Short are the leads in it. And like you can tell they just called Lorne Michaels and were like, hey, we need the roster of folks. Like they just rolled everybody out from previous seasons of SNL to like come through as cameos on that show.
Interesting.
Which sounds bad, but it's actually a really good show. That sounds terrible based on what you just said.
Right. But like that's just the SNL way. Like if you are on SNL, Lorne owns a piece of everything you do forever until you're dead. Like that's
true. I just found out Kyle Mooney, who I really liked on SNL. He has a new show that just came out on Netflix that I hadn't heard about. So a friend of mine told me about it, called Saturday Morning All-Star Hits, and it is the way that 90s cartoons had like local hosts for them, for Saturday morning stuff
during the in-between segments.
It's it's him playing two brothers, and man, like the face, like I don't know, deep fake technology or whatever they have now, you can't tell that it's like, you know, it just looks like it's two actors on the screen together and it's just him. It's fucking wild. But I watched it and it's produced by Lorne Michaels, and it's so not in the vein of anything else that, you know, he's produced or what, you know, SNL typically touches afterwards, that I was just really curious about like what those contracts state, like for first review.
Kyle and Beck have had like that Good Friends or whatever it was
Good
called,
Neighbor. Yeah.
Good Neighbor. But they're like, I realized after watching enough SNL, which I don't know why I'm still watching an SNL, but you can tell who wrote which sketches. And Kyle and Beck always do the 10-to-1 sketch. Like they're always that one. And like their 90s stuff is so fucking good, where they're like pretending to be on the TGIF sitcoms. Like those are always like super solid and way out there. All of their shit's always been like super bizarre. So
I started watching it again like a few seasons ago, and they'll every now and then they'll knock it out of the park still. And it's like, they still got, it's like watching a hitter who like can't quite do it anymore, but like every now and then he'll come through, and I'm always happy for him. When that happens.
Yes. I think that's the way that show is now though, right? Like it's a lot of like, what can we do to just make sure this gets on the air? And then every so often it happens to be, what can we do to get this on the air? And also we got one banger idea.
And now
that
David
we're really
Pumpkins is
it's
cultural touchdown. Yeah, I feel like watching it every week is like doing scratch offs, where you're just like, is there going to be a good one? No. Shit.
It's also, I mean, it's obviously like super cast driven. So if you have a strong cast, you know, I think and they go through waves of this where I think it's, you know, sometimes much stronger than others.
I also feel like their cast right now has the most star power that they've ever had, where you have like some people on the show who have been there for so long and are now so successful that they really shouldn't be on the show. They've outgrown the show. Like
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon shouldn't be on the show anymore. She's like way too famous, way too like successful, and I just think that it's time for her to move on. And then also like even Keenan, who's been there but you can't, that gay's going to be there till he's dead. That's the thing he's wanted to do his whole life.
He's the Daryl Hammond for now.
Yeah.
And that's it. You know,
Daryl Hammond without the crack problem.
It's get him, Drew. Yeah, attack.
And some trivia about the cast, because one of the he's a featured. He's not on the main cast. Dismukes is out of Austin.
Oh, cool.
Because he was from the same and was a big Rooster Teeth fan back in the day. Like went to RTX.
What a dork! Get him.
You two can be just like that dork this summer at RTX.
Come on out, rtxevent.com to get your tickets. On sale soon. Gus, plug RTX now.
Well, we got RTX. We also have more. I mean, that's coming up. Tickets are coming on sale in a couple of weeks. But more immediately, we also have the Very Normal podcast tour, which is kicking off January 15th with RT Podcast here. RT Podcast is here in Austin. Face Jam is up in Chicago. That's February. What is that? February 11th? I don't remember when that is. February 11th. And more to be announced. Tickets are on sale now for that. We haven't even announced the podcast lineup for the Austin show. I don't remember who's on it.
Pretty cool.
There'll be people there. I think Jeff might be there. I don't remember.
And if that doesn't whet your appetite, nothing will.
Yeah. Ooh, baby. But tickets are on sale now, but they are going fast. Just so you know. I got an email yesterday that said, these tickets are selling out. Just let people know. And it was...
Yeah. Barbara, Chris, Jeff, and me.
Wow. What an all-star cast.
The most is still waiting on their invite for the podcast.
Yeah. That's, any day...
just waiting for that to come.
Keep refreshing. Just keep hitting F5
because our numbers.
I assume y'all forgot to give Inside Gaming a panel last year, but fingers crossed this time.
Brian, we should start our own podcast tour.
Like Devolver Digital at E3. Back up the truck.
We should just
go
to
the convention center with a megaphone.
We should just go to Chicago and sit outside wherever Face Jam is playing and do our own version live on the street.
You should. February 11th. The weather's going to be great to do an outside podcast in Chicago, Illinois.
Wait, y'all are outside?
They are.
No, we would be. We'd be outside the venue.
I got you. Yeah,
I'm going to do it Alex Jones style with the megaphone.
And a giant tank car.
The content is just going to be me reading the slacks from everyone. I'm just going to go through.
That's cool. Definitely should say that you're going to do stuff Alex Jones style more.
Yeah,
that's really awesome.
Yeah.
I got the documents right here.
Gonna do a podcast and get sued for several $100 million and lose.
Yep.
This is what they said. They said, "Can you be on the Rooster Teeth podcast on Wednesday?" Oops, we got to reschedule. Here it is, right here, folks.
Get them.
This episode of the Rooster Teeth podcast is brought to you by Avast. Shout out to Avast for sponsoring the Rooster Teeth podcast. Avast's new all-in-one solution, Avast One, helps you take control of your safety and privacy online through a range of features. Learn more about Avast One at avast.com. Avast isn't just pirate talk for stop. It's also an award-winning antivirus software that stops viruses and malware from messing with your devices. Avast One has data breach monitoring, which lets you find out if your online accounts have been compromised, if you need to change your passwords. It also has firewall protection, which helps keep your personal information secure, prevents attacks that try to access our computers and steal our data. One of the best features for me has to be their ability to monitor your accounts for breaches. We all have lots of accounts. Sometimes we lose track of them. Don't have to worry about that. Avast got you covered. Avast prevents over 1.5 billion attacks every month. With Avast One, you can confidently take control of your online world without worrying about viruses, phishing attacks, ransomware, hacking attempts, or other cybercrime. Learn more about Avast One at avast.com. No one can stop him. He's the Norm Macdonald of the podcast tour.
Right?
Yeah. I think a nice cease and desist from Warner Media would stop me dead in my tracks.
Oh, 100%.
I agree.
I have no stomach for a legal fight.
None. None whatsoever. I wouldn't even open the email. I'd be like, cool, okay, let's pack it up.
It also, just talking about it is too much work. So it already said, logistically, it's just Jesus Christ.
Yeah. That's tough. Hey, can I show you guys something that I made real quick?
Is it Tub Girl?
I would never show you Tub Girl. Hang on.
Oh, it's something physical. He's going to go grab something.
It's a macaroni necklace. It's
okay.
It's an escalator made out of wood.
You'll never see who dies. I needed a hobby that wasn't on a computer, so I decided to learn how to sew, and I made lucha masks. I learned how to make these.
Oh man!
Never sewn before, and then figured out how to do this.
Wow!
And that, I did two of them, and I'm working on a third. But
do you have a machine or hand sewn?
Oh no, it's definitely, I have a machine. I have like a sewing machine. I've just never sewn before. Yeah, so
still very impressive.
Well, thank you very much.
You went from just cloth to those.
Yeah.
Wow.
These are you could see kind of these are old Rooster Teeth t-shirts that they leave on the break room table, and they say, "Hey, take these." So,
okay.
They went to
I look forward to watching you wrestle Chris Jericho on Thursday Thunder.
Oh,
it looks
absolutely.
Really awesome.
I'll be wearing this, and I'll take them out. Yeah, these are old shirts and leatherette. So I needed did you guys do any hobby stuff during all this lockdown? Whatever, did you figure out how to woodwork or whatever?
I unhobbied myself. I used to do quite a bit of leatherworking. I'm currently only wearing. Oh no, I have my bag. Oh, here it is.
You did some streams showing off yourself leather work early in the pandemic.
I
wow.
That. Yeah.
What? That's nice. That's legitimately nice stuff.
That's incredible.
I'm looking around to see if I've made. Did I?
Made that?
Yeah, I made that.
Wow.
Here's another thing though. Eric, when I said, "Hey, you did a good job" in that deadpan voice, I meant how you sounded just now. No, I just want to let you know, that's
100%.
I can't.
No, we're on the same page. Noises. Yeah, no. Okay, no. We're on the same page. You should keep doing leather. Why did you stop doing leather stuff? That's awesome.
I don't know. It's just not vibing for me for a little bit. I keep trying to get back into it, and then I'm like, nah, I'm good.
Is it like you don't care to make the thing that you're making, or is it more this is fucking boring?
It's a little tedious. It's all because it's all hand sewn, so I don't have a machine, so it's just a lot of
Why don't you just get a machine?
They're very expensive, and they're
no, they're not.
A leather sewing machine is very expensive. Yeah,
you steal one. Let's go steal one.
Let's go steal a leather sewing machine. Perfect. Yeah, that's content.
Yeah, let's go steal a leather sewing machine. It can't be that hard. There must be tens of them.
15. There are as many leather sewing machines as people killed by dogs in America.
I knew it.
Nice.
You talking like the Singer heavy duty?
Yeah, baby.
Well, and I have a double needle. It just needs like I have to bring a technician into my home to like fix it because it's so robust. So it's like not even something we can get fixed.
Wow.
I brought my hobby that I did get into over the pandemic. And it's embarrassing. Number one, because I got into it because of Cobra Kai. I got into fucking bonsai, like growing.
Really? Really?
Yes. And I tried the first ones I tried to do were from seed, which is the dumbest idea, like, because these things take forever to grow because you're growing trees. There's a whole tree special. They're just regular trees that you intentionally do. This after a year, this is what I've done.
Oh my God.
This is the hobby. A year of work here.
Look at your little tree.
It's 4 of them. You can't see, but it's like, I don't have to pay. I'm not going to live to see the end of this hobby.
Yeah.
And so then I decided to, and they're like, well, you need to buy some existing things and like bonsai them. But even if you buy them existing, it still takes like a few years of, it's not like an immediate hobby at all. Like it makes gardening look like roller derby or something. So yeah, but I do kind of enjoy, I do like watching them grow, but I've had to learn, I guess, patience, or just like that you're not going to live to see the end of this. I don't know. It makes me just, I just go back to the Watch People Die subreddit because I realize like that's in my more immediate future than watching this thing like become any kind of recognizable bonsai. But it is kind of fun. I do like it.
You should just get a gray parrot and a turtle and make that your hobby. Because those live almost half the time.
I will say, yeah, I forgot Cobra Kai season 4 is coming back really soon. It's like next week.
Oh shit! Awesome.
Yeah, it's December 31st.
Is it still a YouTube show or did it move networks?
Netflix.
Netflix got it.
It's a fucking great show.
It's awesome. Okay. It's awesome. Yeah, and I feel like Netflix was like, wait, this is way too good for YouTube Red. We're going to take this now.
Yes.
Or it was like, wait, how little are you spending making this show? Yeah. We'll just take that. It's not like a big budget show by any stretch of the imagination.
It's hugely nostalgia and it's pretty well done. And it's fun to watch these guys like in their, against all odds. It's fun to watch these guys. So yeah.
I think, season 1 was just like perfect nostalgia, like scratching that nostalgia itch of like that 80s Karate Kid fever. And then like they just continue to build off of that and just really, they did a great job with it.
Yeah, the premise of seeing Johnny like present day, just this total washout, and he's like has not matured in the slightest from 1986. He's still listening to Poison, like he's still driving like a T-top convertible, like still racist, like all this, and seeing him try to relate at all to like children is just, it's endless entertainment. Endless.
Well, there's an episode, I think it's in season 1, where he like reminisces on the time that Mr. Miyagi attacks them all in the first Karate Kid movie. Oh god! And he's like, yeah, my friend had brain damage after that. And he's like laughing about it, like laughing it off.
God, that's wild.
But yeah, it's just weird. Like it's like some of those recontextualizing YouTube videos that I'm sure you've seen in the past, where it's like telling the story, but from the other side. Like what was his experience? What was his perspective in that whole thing?
I think it was a spinoff of that, or I think the concept was from that Daniel is the real bully video. Sort of it was really well done, and it's fun.
This is a pre-record. We talked about that earlier. By the time this is out, and I guess now it's happening, The Matrix is out. Gus, review?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to watch it tonight. It came out today.
The 22nd.
It came out today, like at 3 a.m. our time, so I haven't had a chance today to watch it.
What do you mean you had all day?
We assumed you had your alarm set for like 3:01. You like woke up this morning and were like,
"It's Matrix time! It's Matrix time!"
Yeah, I'll watch it tonight. But I will say the reviews I've seen have been middling.
That's all I've seen.
It looks like a middling movie.
Nostalgia grab. Something turned 20, so we better make it. We better renew the property while we can.
I'm gonna look it up on Rotten Tomatoes here.
I mean, the thing
have you seen it? Did you see it?
No, I'm not going to see The Matrix. I don't care. The thing about
you asked me. Don't fucking get all
I know
up
because you're excited about it. I don't care. The people watching this podcast are like, "Oh, I already saw it." The thing about The Matrix is that it was so cutting edge and so like different 20 years ago that 20 years can't do anything to help you be more cutting edge.
No, here's the thing. In that first Matrix, the bullet time, when it turns into bullet time, we had never seen anything remotely like that at all.
Yep.
Right.
What could they possibly have in Resurrections where you're going to be like, yep, that's a completely new
concept. It was so much about the effects. Right. It was.
It's going to be better CG. That's it. And it's not going to be anything to write home about because it's going to look like every Marvel movie.
And we've hit the incrementalism of CG where it's just like, it's over.
I loved the first one. I thought it was
absolutely.
And I remember watching the second one and thinking like, I'm good.
Yep.
I don't need the story. Like I need the first story to me was a perfectly contained. He finds out he's the one. He flies away at the end. He beats the shit out of the eight. And then I can fill in the rest of my mind. They go on and beat the bad guys.
The second and third one, watching the second and third one, it reminded me of like, I remember watching it and being like, did I not read the books? Like, I feel like this is in the books, but it's like, there is no books. It's all, they just wrote them.
The second one made the same sin that the Phantom Menace did, where it's like there were whole subplots about political intrigue. What is the council doing? It's like, I don't give a fuck about the political backstory going on in Zion. Like, just cut all of that.
Yep. Anytime they weren't in the Matrix, I was fucking like, get back into the Matrix.
Right.
It was, well, here's a world where we can fly and do whatever we want. All right. But now we have to come out of that world and everything is like gross and muddy and everyone lives in a hole in the ground. And you're like, this is the worst. Fuck this. Fuck this. I hate it. By the numbers, I'm not a fan of the Matrix. Just by the numbers.
It was a really cool superhero origin story.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was sort of his but then after that, I didn't need to see because it was all kind of reveals. But if it wasn't the special effects and if it wasn't them doing karate to each other, I did not care.
Yeah.
Like, to each other. Action movie.
I'm going to do some karate to you here.
They're doing fucking kung fu and shit. Whatever. Yep. You know it.
I know, but to each other.
To each other.
Are you excited, Gus?
I am. And I like the Animatrix too, which I feel like gets forgotten a lot at this point. Yeah. So it's like Matrix, Animatrix, good. Second and third movie's not that great. But I felt like I was excited about this movie because in all like the marketing materials and everything they're talking about, it's like they're very focused on like, this is the successor to the first movie. Like, it's almost like our bad. We know we're going to stick to the stuff that we know you guys like. So we'll see.
I also haven't seen like a solid home run from the Wachowskis in some time. So that's the other concern. Like Cloud Atlas was pretty good. I remember thinking that one was solid, but then I haven't seen anything like astonishing from them.
People love Speed Racer.
I'm so tired. I'm so tired of the revisionist history of Speed Racer. That movie came out. It was fucking lambasted by the people who can't tweet fast enough about what a hit, what a gem it is. The exact same people going, this movie fucking sucks, are the same people who are going, what a hidden gem. Go watch Speed Racer, my favorite movie. Yeah. It's like, fuck, God, it bothers the shit out of me.
I will say they did nail. I feel like that's the only time like an anime has come to live action and they nailed it. Like it is the show verbatim. Like they did a very good job. The show originally wasn't very good because it was from the 60s. Like they just did the 1-to-1 of that show. So I agree. Speed Racer looked cool. Again, looked dope as fuck.
Still, I've never seen it. Never watched it. Is it available?
I don't think you can watch it.
I didn't like the fucking cartoon either.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just this bad redone, 100%. Cheaply done.
Yep.
And I know what you're saying though, Eric, or I think I know what you're like. I hate the hype machine that gets behind any of these like comic booky type things. And there's this whole layer of tier 3 press and online outlets who love everything.
Yep.
And if you invite them to something, they're going to put out a tweet.
Formerly known as Ain't It Cool News.
Like exactly.
Here's my first impressions of the Flintstone movie.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Picture of the year candidate.
Yep.
Boy, Stephen Baldwin better rent a tuxedo. For everything. They did it for Suicide Squad. They did it for fucking not the new one.
Nope.
Old Suicide.
Oh God.
And
are we gonna? Are we going to get to a point where there's a revisionist history on that movie and people are like, hey guys,
the first one?
Yes.
The first one?
Gus,
the first
yes.
There already
guarantee.
Is. There already is.
Yep.
A little bit. Like,
yes, there is. There's people who are like, hey, Jared Leto wasn't that bad. He was so bad. It was so bad. It was so
barely
bad.
in that movie. He's barely in that movie.
Exactly.
I wouldn't blame the failure. I wouldn't blame the shittiness of that movie on him. He was like
but
4 minutes of that movie.
That's the thing that people are talking about in these, like finding like these nuggets that they can like weird hills to die on like these movies that are so like meaningless and like ephemeral, and then making that like a personality trait of like, and that's right. I like Suicide Squad. That's insane. That's
someone
crazy.
clip that. Someone clip that.
No.
Yeah,
that used to happen, but back in the day, it used to be like, I really like Blade Runner, and it was like 1995, and it's like, oh, cool, or like I like Buckaroo Banzai or something, but now it's like Hayden Christensen was actually really good. No, he fucking wasn't. He was terrible. Yes, those movies had lots of other issues. Yes, the writing sucked, but Natalie Portman could at least deliver those shitty lines with a modicum of believability. He was awful.
Awful. So wooden. And now everyone's like, yeah, but go back and watch him. That's exactly what that character's supposed to be. No, just because it's been a long time doesn't mean that that's what the character was supposed to be. It just means it's been a long time.
Oh, God. Eric's mad. Eric's real mad.
That shit it bothers me.
Right. Just because you grew up with it doesn't make it good.
Exactly. No. It's this weird revisionist thing where people will like, and you know, and it works. It's because it gets me fired up like this, where people will make these tweets because they don't really believe this. It's just a thing they wrote an article about, and so they need people to click on it. And so it works that way. And that's fine. People
tweeting stuff they don't believe, the Ted Cruz effect.
Yeah, it's that shit.
Just getting people mad.
It's people saying things to get a rise out of other people, just to get a rise out of them. Like, to stop Californiaing Texasing my California.
Oh, don't worry. I also tweeted, "Don't Louisiana my Maine." So we'll see what happens after this podcast.
and it also becomes it's like you said, but even more than your personality, I think for some people it becomes their brand. To hate The Last Jedi or something. And it's like, it's a fucking Star Wars movie, or to hate, the Marvel, like I'm DC instead of Marvel, and like you can't enjoy both. It's like, guess what? There's good and bad ones of both of them. I promise you.
Yeah. I feel like that happens in everything, right? You may as well be saying PlayStation, Xbox, or Ford and Chevy. It's like everyone has to align themselves with like, what kind of consumer are you? Like this is a whatever house. Like, no, just fucking enjoy what you enjoy. But don't enjoy stuff that's bad. We're not allowing that.
Right. No, don't like stuff that sucks, because then we'll only get more stuff that sucks. But yeah, it's a real triumph of late stage capitalism that you assign your whole identity to for-profit companies. I'm a Disney fan. Okay, that's great. Yes.
Well, I think it's
all about that.
No, go ahead.
I saw the other day, I was driving to the studio, and over there off of like 51st, which runs like right in front of the studio. And I saw there was a minivan in front of me that had a bumper sticker. And I think the bumper sticker, if I remember right, said Disney Life, Disney Wife. And it makes me think about what you're saying, Brian, where it's like your identity becomes so wrapped up
Disney adults.
In like this for-profit company like that. Like I can't imagine buying a bumper sticker like that and putting it on my car.
Anyway, RTX tickets on sale now.
I'm not ragging on Disney. I'm not ragging on this person. It's like for anything in general.
Yes.
There's not a single. I mean, I have all these posters behind me, but there's not a single property that I like endorse, or a single like consumer item that I'm all in on. Like, there's not a thing that is.
I think that it's a generational thing, and my generation of millennial is really hooked into nostalgia and very much like franchises and properties, and not necessarily like. And I don't think it's anyone's fault necessarily. I mean, the people who are pushing it, I think it's their fault. But just generationally, like Funko Pops shouldn't exist.
Yeah,
they shouldn't. But because you put It's South Park Pro Wrestlers. Like, Brian, you remember that from like the late 90s where it was like, here's Stone Cold Steve Austin, but it's like South Park Stone Cold Steve Austin.
But he looks like Eric Cartman.
It's that.
Or something.
That's Funko Pops because it's just a thing that you recognize on top of another. Like they reskinned a thing to look like a different thing. That to me sums up sort of like my generation sort of like blinders. It's just like, I love this thing and you put it on this other thing, I have to buy it.
Here's the thing, right? I think our generation, millennials, were the first generation to have PR that was psychologically driven. Like every previous iteration of like PR, they were still trying to figure out how to like trick your brain into purchasing things. If you look at the 90s and 80s, we were getting there, but we hadn't refined it. And so like when we were coming up, it became like a refined machine where it's like, if I color this poster orange and blue, you're going to go watch that movie because we've done enough case studies to go make you do this stuff. And so that's
interesting.
So you become integrated into those brands because the PR teams tricked you into doing it. And now you're basically brainwashed. Yeah. By consumer.
And there's so much of the stuff that's just like marketing creations too, but not just products. Like the term gamer did not exist when I was a kid. No. It wasn't an identity to be a gamer. It was just something you did, like ride a bike or something. But also, I just think that I also think it's a sad conclusion to the fact that people are in debt. People can't buy houses. People can't get their adult lives started as easily as they once could. So I think people look at themselves in a different way now as a collection of fandoms almost. You see it in their bios.
But that also explains
I like this, and this. These 5 things are what I like. Yep. That's who I am.
That also explains the nostalgia grab, where it's just like we don't, there's a sense of arrested development. And so we're not allowed to do anything new. So we just look at the past and be like, man, Remember the Ninja Turtles? Hell yeah. I love the Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtle Funko Pop for me.
And Gen X was very much like that too. In fairness, I think at some point we just got too fucking old. And it's like, well, you're in your 40s and 50s now. Shut the fuck up about the G1 Transformers. Like no one wants to hear it, and we're gonna call the police if you stay in this toy section any longer.
I wanted to piggyback on something you said a little while ago, Brian. It's like we said, like when Brian and I we're close to the same age. We like grew up in the same generation. We're both Gen X. When we were younger, like you said, the term gamer didn't exist, but it's because it was encompassed by the broader term loser. Because like only losers played video games back then, right? It was like something you did in secret. You didn't tell anyone you knew that you played video games because it was like, oh, you're a weirdo.
You had your buddy children? That you had your buddy that you met in secret and talked about. But it wasn't something like guys on the football team didn't fucking play Mega Man. Like there wasn't, or if they might, but like it wasn't like it wasn't something that like everybody, even computers were looked at. You remember this, Gus? I feel like that, like not everybody knew what computer users were viewed as. Like what you know about this shit? All right, loser. Yeah.
Well, even when like computers were first when home computers were first being marketed and first being developed and marketed, like I think even computer manufacturers didn't know how to sell them to consumers. It was like you can put your recipes in here. Right? It's like, well, what is the value proposition where you're going to sell someone a $5,000 piece of hardware that they've never had before? It's like, what can it do for me? Like pre-internet, like I don't know. You can type. It's a typewriter with recipes in it.
That was a big sell. I remember my dad being like, I could do all this with a book. This is just a book I can do. I remember him very distinctly. We're not spending $2,000. It was a book.
It's just such a weird time to think back about. It's like we had these machines, but really couldn't do shit with them. I mean, you could play some games, but it was all pretty worthless until the internet came along, really.
Yeah. And the sort of late in the 80s internet was very different from the internet of today. And like in early 90s, like it was a very sort of hardcore user base that was not mainstream at all. Like I only have a vague inkling or sort of use that just a little bit. Yeah, it was extremely different to say the least. Much creepier.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you feel like when you see nostalgia for, because I don't know that nostalgia is the same for the generation below myself and Drew for Gen Z, I guess, or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't, which terrible term. Millennial, terrible term. They're all bad. Gen X is the only cool term.
Gen X is pretty cool. I like
that's
Gen
bullshit.
X. That's the only thing we got. That's all we got.
Yep. And that's what I was going to ask. Like, for these younger generations, and even for, like, I guess if you're viewing millennial or whatever, do you see that, like, nostalgia that they have and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, or
nostalgia is subjective for everyone. Like, the time keeps moving. Like, what's nostalgic for Brian and I is different than what's nostalgic for Drew and Eric, because we grew up at a different time. And then it's like, it's just going to keep happening. Like, whatever Gen Z is nostalgic for, like that shit. Like millennials love Pokemon. I was in college when Pokemon came out. I don't give a fuck about Pokemon.
But see, I think it's not about the what, it's about the how. Like, so like what we're nostalgic about, sure, that changes no matter what. How we're nostalgic seems really different to, like, how the millennials are nostalgic about things seems very different than how Gen X is nostalgic, or even Gen Z is coming. Because like I feel like Gen Z's nostalgia comes from just they have the ability to grab clips of the things that they're nostalgia about. So there's no product associated with,
and you're right,
they're nostalgic.
It's I have all these friends who collect shit. Right. All these friends who collect, like, they are like,
millennials hoard. Yeah. Millennials hoard shit.
And did you guys have that? Did you
it is. I don't like how I see it, and they're like, oh, I get that. Like, I don't get that specific. Like, I don't care about Harry Potter, but I get why you would. It's become a lot more professionalized now than when Gus and I, because like Clerks was the first movie I remember that had people just sitting around in a movie talking about Star Wars,
right?
Or talking about, like, oh, that just didn't happen before, and now it's everywhere. But also just the very attractive streamer with all the baubles in the background and all the, with their Pokemon, and just it's like they all have the same shelf of just pop culture stuff. And it's just, I don't like how that's just become like, it's just the professional nostalgia person now, because I think not that it was more pure. It's always existed, but it has gotten to be very refined and targeted now. Whereas before it was just people just sitting around bullshitting about He-Man.
Well, it might go hand in hand with what Drew was saying about how marketing's become so much more precise and like dissecting your brain.
It's been focus tested to perfection. Now, I feel like, and you don't see the streamer's agent or manager and all this, and you just sort of think they're just in their bedroom or whatever. So stuff like that. It doesn't that annoys me, but it just sort of it does annoy me. Fuck, I'm not gonna say. Yes, it does. It was like when Drake played Ninja in Fortnite, and I remember people. I was talking to people at Rooster Teeth, and they were like, "Oh, that's so cool how they just did that." It's like they didn't just fucking do that. That didn't just happen. No. Two giant stars in their field they didn't just text each other.
Yeah. What used to really annoy me, in the same vein we were talking about, Brian, was when Conan O'Brien would do his video games segments.
Oh yes.
And they were like the clueless gamer. It's like, and people are like, "Oh, it's so great." And it's like he's insulting people who play video games nonstop. Like, and like it's obvious that like these companies have you're watching a commercial and you're excited about a commercial.
Yeah. Exactly. Or the South Park World of Warcraft episode where they remember that one. They had to add all these new servers because people were flocking to World of Warcraft. That episode did nothing but make fun of people who played that game.
Yep, right. It's true.
From start to, it was very funny. But yeah, it was, who knows? And that was probably a commercial too. I don't know, or some product placement. I mean,
right. It's got to be something. It was just, no, come on.
Hell yeah.
That is a Warcraft server. I don't get an opportunity very often to show it off.
Is it a whole server? I still don't understand what that is.
It's a server. You play the game on it.
Yeah, this was one of the original World of Warcraft launch servers. This is Blood Scalp. So if you ever played World of Warcraft when it launched and you were on the Blood Scalp server, I have your dude.
Yeah. It's on Drew, it's on Blood Scalp. Blood Scalp.
Oh yeah, Blood Scalp.
Yeah, Blood Scalp.
Right there.
You know how we're the term? Blood Scalp? Not the sickness. Not a disease.
Are you down with the sickness?
I'm not down with the sickness. Here's the thing. all of my friends in high school had an Xbox and they would do LAN parties and play Halo.
Yeah.
I had a PlayStation 2, so I was never invited. And so I missed the whole playing with your buddies and then moving that to the online realm. So I've never figured it out. I've never been.
I don't like online gaming. I don't like online gaming. It's not how I play games. I get tired of it. Play games for like an hour and then I get done. Can I confess? I don't know if I've talked about this on another podcast. Can I confess something?
What?
I've never beaten a Halo game. I think I've played Halo 1 for 2 hours and then tried to play Halo 4 for about an hour. And those are the only Halo games I've ever played. And I work at this company.
Oh, thank God I'm not the only one. Thank God. Me too. I don't get it. I played through 1 just out of guilt. And I was like, it's fine. I mean, I
never played one.
2000.
Really? Cool.
Never played one.
Wow. Gus, and you started a whole company on the back of that. Can you believe that?
Hey, we do other things now. But it's funny you say that, like to bring it back full circle. In a way, the entire company was started by fandom and by being enthusiastic and fans of something. You know, back then, you know, when we first started, it was, you know,
that's
it
what
wasn't
people
as
are screaming at this recording right now.
Yeah, definitely.
But it's like it was.
There's definitely some comments coming our way.
But it was like at the time, you know, we weren't paid to make those videos. Like it was a lot more organic. It was a genuine expression of, you know, love of a property and love of a time. You know, it was, you know, it was a game when it came out that we were excited about for years before it came out. We used to watch all the trailers. Like, God, this was so long ago, right? And, you know, we're looking for bits of pieces of information. But it was weird because it was at such a strange time in the internet where you couldn't play that first game online. So it's like you said, we had to have a LAN party. We had to like drag all our shit together.
Yes.
And, you know, it's just like that was the thing that we did for fun back then.
And it is funny to this day, and I'm not even a huge FPS person, but my favorite gaming memories, maybe these are LAN parties, like playing Duke Nukem or something.
Oh, yeah,
like
sure.
That. Just because you're in a room with, you know, 4 or 5 other smelly guys and you're just having, and it's like, it goes all night and it feels like it lasts an hour, but you played 12 hours and it's a blast. And it's just that the culture has changed so much to like encompass nerd culture, whereas before it was like something, like Gus would say, like you were kind of ostracized for, or you know, even bullied. Like I remember, like not bullied, but like kind of picked on a little bit. So it's funny to see it like, you know, become very much the mainstream thing now. And like, I'm not mad about it, but it's just weird in a way too. Like, oh, girls play this shit now. Cool.
I have a tough red versus blue question, Gus.
Okay.
So as a dude who's grown up playing video games with their friends, who hasn't sat down and like messed with the characters and pretended that they were like a little, like some machinima. Before machinima was machinima, you would just get on and dick around for a minute and fuck around with each other. And it was funny. You'd make little jokes with each other. Everybody's done that. How did you guys know that you were funny enough to start a company with it?
It wasn't a company, right? Like it was a hobby. I think the thing was that we'd already been making websites, like writing what we thought was funny, like writing comedy on the internet, but it was all text-based and photo-based. And then it was just like, oh, well, let's try it, but with video, right? It was like the next step, you know, it was like, oh, this is probably going to be big, I think. So why not? And just like, you know, still working our other jobs, you know, our day jobs, and just like when we would get together to LAN party, instead of LAN partying, we were making these videos.
So it wasn't all in all at once. It was like you're just doing it as what made you what kept your brain functioning, and then
like
got it.
Hearing you talk about that and say like, this was just like a side hobby thing or whatever, dude. I remember downloading the new episodes like when they would come out. Like I was a Red versus Blue fan, like at the very beginning, like when I remember finding it going like, this is fucking awesome. Like, this is so funny. And remembering like when the new ones would come out and downloading them and everything and thinking about that because I was about 10 years younger than you, somewhere like right around there. And so I would be watching these and going like, this is the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. And thinking about you guys just going, well, I'm done with my day job and I have to go do my hobby thing now. Fucking nuts.
Dude, that stuff sucked because like we would try to teach people. We couldn't pay for servers to download. So it's like we had to teach people how to use BitTorrent. So it's like the video would be done. Then we'd each take a copy home to our like home internet and then seed the torrent from home. It's like it would kill my internet like for a day. Be like, I've got to seed the torrent so that everyone can download the new episode.
Yeah, dude, it was the best. Like, and then I had friends at school, and we talk about it, and then you'd be like, "When's the next one coming out?" And then it was just like a lot of that. And now thinking about it, where it was like season 1, and it was just you're like, "Well, done at the call center." Fucking wild.
It's wild, yeah. What a ride.
Yep.
And then now we've done a podcast for over 1,000 hours.
Yeah. Hey. Dude, crazy. Hey. That's crazy.
41 days of talking. Way too many.
Yeah.
In that spirit, let's go ahead and end this one.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. We will see you guys with a new episode here next week. In the new year. So
in a new space, kind of. I mean, it'll be a temporary space, but it'll be different from but it'll be the same. Don't worry about it. We'll see you next time.
I look forward to yelling at you about it.
Bye. What the fuck?